Exotic Gaming back with a console news update for 7 Days to Die. I'll be going over all of the somewhat recent news we have about the console edition, while also talking about some of the little screw-ups the devs have been involved in leading up to Alpha 20's release on PC. Now, most of this news is a few months old to a year old, but it's pretty much all we have regarding console edition lately, so I decided to compile it all together in one video for you guys.
We're in negotiations with several companies on being our console porting partner. So rest assured it's coming back to console.
So these never-ending dev streams were good for one thing, which is the console edition news. Now, how it comes back to console is going to be a big shit show of mismanagement, I bet, but at least we have some information regarding that. Now, over a year ago, Roland was quick to let us know this as well, so this isn't necessarily new information. What is kind of surprising is the next generation console specific point. So they're claiming the only way to continue to bring 7 Days to Die to console players would be to do it on the next generation of consoles, because it's apparently not compatible with the old ones, even though they can run very complex games with much better graphics than 7 Days, but regardless, that's what they're claiming. Now, what they claim and what they say are completely contradictory a lot of the time.
We're going to target the new consoles. We're going to try to make it backport to the old consoles. We have a lot of video options. We think we can make it work on the old consoles too, but and we do our dream is to have it cross-play between multiple stores. You know, it would be PlayStation, Xbox, other stores too, possibly the Epic Store or Microsoft Store.
Wow. So they have a lot of video options to make it work on older consoles. Then why aren't they focusing on those, since that's what people have currently paid for that isn't updated with even electricity or working turrets? It's unbelievable. On one side, they're claiming it's not compatible, and on another, they're saying, oh, maybe they can get it to work eventually. Now, Alpha 20 was released with this cross-platform play added into anticipation of future consoles, but that's not much faith towards the older generation at all. He did kind of expand on this later, but it doesn't leave much up in the air.
All cross-played with dedicated servers, so when it does come back to console, we want that console guys to have a dedicated server experience as well, which is persistent server, so you can play long games for a couple months like the PC guys do.
Oh, thank God they're focusing on some cross-play compatibility when I can't build anything else with electricity. This all is good news in the future of the game. It just makes it seem like they're going to make players pay for a whole new game at this point instead of letting them get the product they paid for earlier. Another major problem with this is the game needs to be finished on PC first before it really gets any steam on console, according to the devs at least. This console hype gained even more movement when a re-release of the game went up on market months ago with a new redistribution partner with some false advertising to boot as well, which is another complicated matter entirely. But I guess this did prove the game still had console demand at least.
So you guys are asking about console. We're talking to several companies as porting partners, and we're evaluating how easy it will be to bring the current version of the game to console. Saying it won't happen, we are saying it will happen. But it's easier to do when the game is in a content-locked, finished state.
So these console re-release editions that came up on the market claim they had electricity and other modern features that the game doesn't have in console edition, which caused a whole uproar in the community, and the Fun Pimps had to come out with a tweet to say that this new content was not in the console edition. This game came out in 2013 for early access, and they still haven't managed to get out information in a nice, orderly way. There's over 12 million copies sold, and they can't get a game's description right. The CEO himself comes out calling this new description fake news, which is hilarious. And moderators on forum sites arguing with the community among what is correct and what isn't correct is just it's one big shit show of mismanagement on a simple re-release of a game that came out in 2013 that was missold and mistreated on console. Now, this would likely happen after the PC version has gone gold and could end up being an entirely new product. The lovely moderator Roland goes on saying that it is doubtful gold will be coming at the end of this year, no shit. He goes on to say that the game currently on console is basically in its final form mode, like this is some anime. It just seems like there's some missing link between moderators, developers, and their different teams for marketing. No one actually knows what is going on. I guess some good news in the air is that Telltale is back producing games, but it's basically a completely new team at this point after going bankrupt and leaving a lot of games completely decimated. What's honestly funny about all of this is the Fun Pimps couldn't even take off the Telltale logo on the redistribution of the game sold. You would think they'd want to separate themselves from a company that created such a disdain in the community towards them, but you know what, might as well leave it on there for simplicity's sake, I guess. The Fun Pimps do own the rights now for the game on console, which they apparently had to acquire with a substantial amount of money. Now, who knows how much that was, but they're going to recoup it when they try to resell the game on a new console version, so maybe that's their plan. It's just ridiculous in how this company treats its non-PC consumers especially. I mean, essentially the old version of the game on console is going to be abandoned entirely in favor of the republishing of the game that they themselves have reacquired the rights to, which I don't believe gives them the right to resell the same game, air quotes, as a different product or different version, I guess. It's like a DLC or something, I guess. Maybe they'll reduce the price for those who have a prior version of the game or something. They should do something to at least appease the mass of players that already bought the game as a console version. Add an upcharge as well, compared to all the sales and stuff that go on Steam. Regardless, I'll keep you guys updated throughout the year on any new console information, but we most likely won't hear much until the next batch of continuous live streams that will no doubt hype up the next alpha for PC. And unless another tiny scandal happens that the developers feel the need to expand upon on the forums or internet, we won't be hearing much for a while, especially if the game needs to be in a finished state of development for console consideration. Let me know what you think of the current state of the console edition and how you feel about the direction it's heading in. Developers need to know what their community feels like, and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to stay updated on 7 Days to Die. Been doing a lot of big Lord of the Rings inspired builds on PC lately, like Helm's Deep and Minas Tirith. They're pretty damn cool, if I do say so myself, and I'll see you guys in the next video.